What's going on, guys? So today I want to give a first impressions video on a new Kizer model that's coming out. I had the chance of trying this out before the release. This is a familiar design. This, of course, is the Sheepdog, but this one specifically is the XL. All right, so there's a few versions of this knife. This is going to be the biggest full 4-inch blade on this thing. I mean, it's pretty beastly. All right, it's massive for some people. For other people who like big knives, it's just kind of normal, I guess. This one happens to have a modified sheep's foot blade, but to me, because it's just so wide, it's more of like a cleaver style knife, so you could put it in that category. But there's some things I like about it, some things I don't like about it, and this is just my impression. It's not a full review or anything. I've only had this for probably a week, maybe a week and a half, something like that. Carried it a couple times. The one thing that really stood out to me is how sharp this thing was out of the box. Like, I haven't been really impressed with, you know, a really sharp factory edge in a long time. This thing is ridiculous. It's sporting a 154 cm. All right, so it's a very good steel, as we all know, but it's not like a crazy super steel or anything. All right, so I grabbed a phone book here. I want to give you a quick cut test. All right, phone book paper is a really good medium. Since all phone book paper is pretty much the same, everyone can do this test at home. It takes a really sharp edge to cleanly slice through foam book paper. I mean, it takes a sharp edge, in my opinion, to cleanly slice through, like, you know, printer paper or copy paper. But this is just next level stuff. If you can get a clean slice through this, you have an extremely sharp knife. All right, but at least it's a reference for some people out there. Keep in mind, this is not a factory edge anymore, although I only did some light cutting. First thing I did was some cardboard cutting. I broke down like 2, you know, medium-sized Amazon boxes, so I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 cuts, something like that, and then I cut through a little bit of paracord, all right? So that's all that I have on this, but it was not stropped or anything. You can see, oops, nice clean cut still. I mean, that's a feat. If you happen to have a phone book at home, I know not many people do, we live in the digital age. But yeah, that is an extremely sharp knife. I think what's helping to contribute to, you know, how sharp the edge is, not only did an awesome job from the factory, but having a nice wide edge, it's a longer run. All right, so you have that leaner grind. Does that make sense? All right, if this blade was half the width, it would be more of the wedge effect I always talk about. But anyway, so yeah, it came razor sharp. Overall, you know, it's a really comfortable knife. I like the handle design on here. Large finger choil. There's a little bit of a bump here, kind of fills out the hands. All right, you can see, I mean, it is a large knife overall, but I still have a little bit of handle poking out there, so if you happen to have huge hands, it shouldn't really be an issue at all. Everything on here is really smooth. There's no jimping or anything. All right, the only thing that I don't like about this, and it's something that kind of bugs me, and it's something I've noticed like right away when I started carrying it, is the pocket clip is super smooth and like polished. And when I go to, you can see it's a liner lock, if I didn't already mention that. When I go to unlock this, my pinky and sometimes my ring finger, it lands right on the pocket clip. So I go to, you know, unlock this, I get a grip, I squeeze, as we all do, right, when we're unlocking our knives. And when I squeeze, my fingers are like just sliding off of that. We have a nice textured, you know, G10, we have these slots cut out, which actually your fingers land on, does add grip there. And it's just kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's one of those things. Obviously, the pocket clip could be like a matte finish. That would probably help. But, you know, it looks nice, polished up. It's just something I noticed, that my fingers literally land right there, and it just slides. It's super annoying. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like that. So much so that I might even take the pocket clip off. You can see it is right side tip up only carry. It does carry awesome. It's the perfect tension on here. It's a really simple clip. Functionally, it's an awesome pocket clip. I have no issues with it except for the fact that it just doesn't feel good. It's just one of those things. You can see even flipping it open, all right, using the flipper here, my fingers land on that pocket clip and it's sliding around. Now I have enough grip with my middle finger here and the thumb on both sides. It's not really an issue. It's just something that like is starting to really stand out and be like a pet peeve. Speaking of the flipper, this has to physically be the largest flipper I've ever seen on, you know, on a knife. I mean, even if you have a flipper that sticks out this much, it's usually like angled. You know, this is just like a big old hunk of metal there. But it works. It works totally fine. All right. If you don't want to use the flipper, there's plenty of blade here. You can use a kind of a pinch grip, all right, with the middle finger and the thumb to initiate that, and then use the side of the blade to open it. A little bit kind of awkward for some people. Obviously, if you're getting a flipper, it's because you like the flipper. It is super smooth though. Very, very smooth. All right. You can see the blade centering on here is very good as well. It is an open frame design. See, you just have a couple standoffs, 3 of them here, pillars. All right, which is nice because it keeps the knife nice and clean. All right, when you have dust and dirt, pocket lint and stuff, it just pushes right through as opposed to collects in there. Also, even though it's large, I don't know the weight offhand, it does feel like a hunk because it's a larger knife. If I had to guess, it's probably like 5 or 6 ounces, something like that. But they did skeletonize the scales, you can see through there. They did it on both sides, all right, which did help. Obviously, it could have been heavier than it is now. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a very comfortable, large knife. It locks up awesome. There's no blade play. All right, I mean, locks up like a bank vault. And like I said, that 154 cm just stands out as being just extra, extra scary sharp right out of the box. It's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, functionally, it works fine. Just so far, my only pet peeve is this pocket clip. Now, I don't have any of the other Sheepdog models. All right, so if you guys happen to have the smaller, regular size and the mini version, let me know if that's an issue, if it still has these same pocket clips on there, and if you happen to have that weird feeling that it just gives me. I also just don't particularly like the color combination of the green. It's a really beautiful, like OD green G10 scales with this vibrant blue pivot collar. I just personally don't like the combination there. I wouldn't mind the blue if it was on maybe some black scales or more of a neutral color like off-white or something along those lines. I mean, if you're gonna do 2 colors like blue and green, that's fine, but I would have liked to maybe see it, other places too, like maybe the hardware was also blue or the standoffs were blue or something. Just personal preference, but it doesn't change one bit the fact that this is an awesome, very functional knife. I mean, it's big, it's extremely, extremely sharp, locks up perfect. It's super smooth, opens very easy, and it's ergonomic. It's comfortable in the hand. So that's my first impressions of this particular knife from Kizer. Again, this is a C01C-XL, okay, the Sheepdog model. Let me know down in the comment section if you have the other versions of this knife, if you have the same issue with this pocket clip. That's really the only focus on this knife. It's such a cool model. It just really stands out. I don't know, I might end up taking it off, which is kind of weird size knife. I mean, if it was a smaller knife, I don't mind taking pocket clips off and have it kind of float around the pocket. That's not a big deal. But because it's so large, I wouldn't want this free floating in the pocket. It might be more dedicated towards a bag, a go bag or something like that. But other than that, it's a really cool knife. I do like it a lot. So again, let me know down below your experiences with the other versions of this knife. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Take care.